Um, Basically, this is a topic I'm very, very passionate about, is self-defense. And the reason why is because when I was a kid, I was able to go around the world and I saw a lot of different things. But one thing I always took with me, no matter what military base I was at, was being able to defend myself. So people thought I'd actually have a hard time with bullies. Well, they tried to pick on me. Well, that's a different, and what happened to them was a different story. So let's look at some interesting statistics as we get started. Burglaries. That's a pretty high rate right there. You guys can see that right there. Children, ages 0 to 17 in 2012. A lot of them were pretty much, about almost half of them were almost assaulted in some physical way. Those who survived sexual assaults or whatever, percentage of women, here's some very interesting statistics right here about women who survived sexual assaults and stuff like that right here. About 32% of them, and about 23% have also experienced some type of physical or some sexual violence in their life, whether it was someone close to them, unwanted physical contact, unwanted sexual contact, all that fun stuff. Now, these are some scary statistics. Is that right?
Yep.
I mean, this is insane. So, as we look at these scary statistics, what can we do about it? Buy pepper spray? Yeah, it can help out a little bit, but you would have to have time to reach for your pepper spray, pull it out, remove the safety, bam. Guess what? That's enough time for him to grab your hand, throw the pepper spray away, and have a play with you. Buy a taser. Those things are fun. Yes, they are. They are fun to play with. However, again, having to reach in, pull out the taser, unlock the safety, zap it, and find the body part that you're going to aim for. How many seconds do you have during that? Maybe 5 to 10 seconds just to be able to pull that out. Not enough time. And that gives your attacker enough time. Taser goes over there. Having a gun. I am all for having a gun. I am all for having guns in the house. However, when an attacker is a lot faster and catches you off guard, you don't have enough time to reach in here, grab your gun, reach here, grab your gun, reach across the room, grab your gun, because guess what? The guy's probably already caught up to you. Can you call the police? Police are not there to protect you. They are basically there to investigate the crime, determine what happened, and then basically put it in the records for the courthouse. Prayer? I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in the power of prayer. However, sometimes prayer is usually the thing that helps you out after an attack, not during the attack. So we're going to go over three basics. We're going to go over my particular 3 favorite choices as far as some type of martial arts to help you not become a victim and actually possibly be able to save your life. We're going to look at a very basic one, judo. Judo was created in Japan back in late 1800s. The objective was basically to either throw or take down an opponent, immobilize them, and subdue the opponent. Basically, to disarm your opponent, to leave them on the ground, and to get to safety. Usually involves some type of wrist lock, or some type of arm lock, leg lock, or my favorite, a choke, which I taught my sister my favorite chokehold maneuver, got her out of a lot of bad situations in high school. Basically strikes and thrusting with the hands and the feet as weapons. Because basically sometimes the only weapon you need, 2 hands, and being able to throw a good kick. There's a story that goes with this. Ronda Rousey, a UFC Women's Fighting Champion, Strikeforce Women's Champion, and a 2008 bronze Olympic winner in judo. She was at a movie theater one time, minding her own business, just trying to enjoy a good film. Some guys recognize her. Oh, hey, that's Ronda Rousey. Oh, she thinks she's bad. These guys had it in their heads to start a fight with her, to impress their girlfriends. Number one, that's really stupid, because if your girl is impressed by you attacking another girl, you are just flat out retarded. These guys kept on throwing stuff at her, provoking her into a fight, and then went up to her as she's just trying to get away. They went up to her trying to consistently provoke a fight. Because of her judo background, she knocked fire out of these guys, brought them to the ground, crippled them a little bit, walked away. They called the cops. The cops got her story, compared it to the witness's story, and, the attacker's story. The cops just looked at the guys and they're like, we should be charging you for assault. She was defending herself. You guys started it. And basically made utter fools of themselves. Muay Thai, which is one of my favorite. Muay Thai means the pride of Thai. Basically, it's the body art of being able to use your hands, elbows, knees, legs, or feet. Sometimes those are the only weapons you have, especially when you're trying to reach for your taser. That person grabs you and stuff like that, what are you going to do? Can you use weapons sometimes? No, because you're immobilized. So what do you have? Your knees, your elbows, and sometimes your hands. This can be traced back, as the earliest I was able to trace this back to was the the 1800s, during a battle. Forgive me, I cannot pronounce these Asian words. I should learn these Asian words better. And it's also known as poor man's martial arts because this particular style would actually help eradicate the samurais from a local village a long time ago. This guy went to Thailand, learned this particular art in Thailand, came back to Japan, taught to the other villagers. Samurais quit harassing them. And at the time, samurais were actually a very elite guard that were basically top dogs in all of Japan. This particular style pretty much knocked fire out of these dudes, and the samurais decided just to back off and leave them alone. It actually helped eradicate the village. I've personally used this particular style. Back in 2010, I was actually involved in a bar fight where I met 3 of my other best friends. And I had to take on the 2 smaller dudes because I'm the actual smaller dude of the group. And these guys were a little bit more on the beefier side and stuff like that. But because I knew how to use my elbows like this, knees, legs, these 2 dudes went down. I was the last one standing, and I was actually throwing them out of the bar. And I avoided assault charges because I threw them out of the bar and was able to claim self-defense. And now we're going to go into the final one, Krav Maga, which is actually starting to become my favorite because number one, it was actually developed by a Jewish guy. Right around as Hitler was rising in power during the anti-Jew times. A particular guy, I forgot his name, he actually learned this particular style. He learned this particular style to basically, he was a wrestler, but then as the Nazis were starting to invade all over the world, he basically had to come up with a particular style of fighting to basically defend himself. So he combined that with boxing, and over time he started teaching other people, and it started to evolve. Nowadays, it's currently being used by cops, special forces, the Israeli Defense Force. A lot of different people are actually using this particular style. Even one of my best friends, who taught me a lot about marketing, is actually currently using this style. He was actually able to disarm a guy who had a gun to his head. Basically take the gun out of his hand and beat him down with it. Basically, this particular one is similar to judo. This is actually very particular judo. It basically talks about basically the awareness of basically body parts to aim for, like vulnerable parts like the eyes, the neck, throat, the face, solar plex, the groin, ribs, knees. Those are particular areas that you can attack to actually start throwing an attacker off your tail and actually weaken them. It basically talks about preemptive and counterattacks to basically to simulate possible other means of attacking your opponent and getting away. It also shows you how to be more physically aggressive than your attacker because when you're being attacked, you're using physical aggression against you. Basically, this particular style is developed a psychological thinking way of being more aggressive than your attacker. And sometimes when you're more aggressive than your attacker's like, dude, I'm backing up, homie. I'm backing up. I'm not messing with this dude. And also, this particular style basically teaches you how to have a mental psychology of what's around you. Like, I'm minding my own business. Someone comes in here, attacks me, runs over here, starts doing this stuff, grab this chair. Basically, it's an art of street fighting. So in conclusion, we live in a very unsafe world. Crime continues to get worse in different places. Defending yourself is the most effective way than waiting for the cops, using a particular weapon, pepper spray or whatever, and probably is more quicker than the answer to prayer. It increases your chance of survival and decreases your chance of becoming a victim. Whether it's Krav Maga, judo, or Muay Thai. Doesn't matter what kind of particular fighting style you learn. I just encourage all of you guys just to think about being able to take a self-defense class, because sometimes you're going to be in an unsafe place, and it's better for you to survive than to be a victim. Thank you.